everyone. You're welcome to the Total Education Show.
School is not just about academic subjects alone. School is also about co-curricular activities. School is engagement with fun.
Development of a child is 360, and that's why we have tagged this program Total Education Show.
Stream is here to raise kids that will identify the problems, come together as a group, and see a way to correct the error.
We normally say that we have 4 baskets of rights. So four baskets of rights.
At the end of 3-year training in technical colleges, students are competent enough to take any job.
Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello friends, hello everyone at home. My name is Wumi Tolu Alalade, your anchor on the Total Education Show. Yes, Total Education Show. The show is put together and packaged by the Lagos State Ministry of Education for your co-curricular aspect of education. So you have a total and a valued education system even in your homes. Yes. Now what areas we will be looking at? We're going to be looking at STEM issues. We're going to be looking at TVET, and we'll be looking at, yes, child protection issues. Everything that has to do with child protection and advocacy of your children, even as they are home. Now, do you want to give me feedback? Yes, I want to hear from you. You can send in your feedbacks to me on this WhatsApp number 081-26601-889. Yes, WhatsApp messages only on 081-26601-889. Yes, I'm waiting and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Welcome to today's episode of Stream on the Total Education Show, powered by the Lagos State Ministry of Education. Today, we have with us the Director General of the Office of Education Quality Assurance, Lagos State Ministry of Education. Are you a stakeholder in education? Do grab your seat as we give you details that you were itching to know, particularly now that schools are reopening gradually in Lagos State and all over the world. So please sit tight as we bring the show on. Welcome on board, Ma. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
In fact, we're so excited that you're here, and I know the listeners are itching to hear a lot about the Office of the Education Quality Assurance, Lagos State Ministry of Education, where you are the Director General at this point in time. As the head of this parastatal, what is the role of the Office of Education Quality Assurance, Lagos State, in encouraging implementation of our own aspect of today's episode, that is STREAM, science, technology, engineering, arts and reading all together. All those initiatives that Lagos State have under the MOE, what is the role of the OEQA in making this happen?
When we think of STREAM, science, technology, reading, engineering, arts and math, we're really talking about our curriculum as a whole. Now, when we talk about Office of Education Quality Assurance, we ensure quality in all our schools below tertiary. So when we go to the schools, we're looking at standards of the facilities, we're looking at the standards of teaching and learning, we're looking at the standards of communication schools may be having with their parents and their families and their communities, and we're looking at all the things that are necessary to ensure quality education for our children within the state.
Thank you, Ma. You do so much in policing. So you are the police of the Ministry of Education.
I would like to sort of think of ourselves of a mix of maybe a judge, right? A mix of being a judge and a counselor at the same time, or coach.
We are in the new normal.
Yes.
And there are a whole lot of creativity innovations going on, particularly in the education sector. So is there any spectacular or any initiative that
Yes.
the OEQA has done?
At the beginning of COVID-19, we were thinking through a literacy-based program that would be school-based called Read Aloud Lagos.
Yeah, Read Aloud.
Yes, yes. So Read Aloud is an instructional tool that teachers or even parents may use at home to encourage children to read. And there's so many benefits to doing this, of course. Increased vocabulary, better enunciation, a love for reading in general. So when COVID-19 started, we now started really thinking through how we can also adjust to the new normal. And we decided to, launch on Children's Day with our wonderful Mr. Governor.
Yeah, he's always in support of what we do.
He is, and we're so excited to have him.
Thank you, sir, for all you do for us.
We're so excited to have him. So, and he did such a wonderful job of reading aloud to children. There was a particular book by a Nigerian author,
Yes, I saw
Mrs.
it.
Olubumi Talabi Abodering, I believe that's her name. And the book was titled Why Do We Wash Our Hands? So that book was,
so
perfect
relevant
exactly
at that
for
time.
this timing. So he read the book along with other notable Nigerians, including people within the government. And we even had one of our Tutor General Permanent Secretaries who read in Yoruba. And
I saw it. It was so
it
wonderful.
was so good. So many
Yeah.
people loved it. I was getting WhatsApp messages. Who's the woman that read Yoruba? So it was
good.
nice. It was very, very low hanging. But at the end of the day, we decided that this is a great time to sort of think through how we can engage our families and
students
our
and
children
families at
exactly for reading. And the purpose of that for the virtual stage was to encourage families to read aloud with their children 20 minutes every day.
Yes.
So we have the online version, which is the website, and added to that website is a learning management system. So that learning management system, we've added hundreds and hundreds of stories that have been read aloud, including stories that have been read from space. So you see some
That's
astronauts,
wonderful.
yes. You see some astronauts reading from space.
Oh my.
So I mean, these are
Lagos
free.
is trying,
There are free resources that are out there, and then assignments. But me being the educator, that I am, wanted to also make sure that it can be used for support for teachers and for schools. So we have a type of instructional way of doing things. So there are lessons and there are assignments like worksheets to go along with that as well. And then we recognize that not everyone will have so much access to technology. So what we did is we've started these WhatsApp read aloud initiatives, right? So that all of these resources can be streamed using WhatsApp. So electronic versions of books are disseminated on WhatsApp, and they're volunteer teachers. But then, I've been challenged, and I think this program is one that is living and continuously changing as we get feedback from people who are making changes.
I want to go on straight to the fears that people have. Mostly all the stakeholders that you've talked about, parents, teachers, students, even school owners, the community at large, that they have towards the discharging of duties of the OEQA. And you're a very critical MDA in Lagos State Ministry of Education. So we want you to kind of use this opportunity to allay people's fears concerning that.
There's a lot of power in language, so quality assurance is the onus is then on us, because we are the one that are quality assuring, as opposed to inspectors. Where the onus is on the school. Right? So the responsibility still lies on the school, but we are now charging ourselves more to ensure that quality occurs, and that is by not just monitoring, but really supporting. So this support component is very, very integral in the work that we are supposed to be doing. And that also requires us as an agency to take an honest look at where we are and try to make changes in terms of how we can better prepare ourselves, how our officers are onboarded when they come into the agency, how our officers are trained to make sure that they are able to coach, right? Coach school leaders and coach teachers. So that's one thing we've really been working on. Yes. Another thing is we want to make sure that the processes for the establishment of private schools, we want to make sure that, you know, that the ease of doing business is is better for people that want to start schools, you know, so trying to walk through the automation processes, how will those things be automated? So it's really been great, and it's really been encouraging. I must really state that I have a fantastic team. I mean, they work day in and day out. I'm calling people on weekends. I'm calling people, you know, they know themselves.
So thank you to everybody, you know, in
I'm calling them,
that makes
you know,
it happen.
And they've really risen to the occasion, and it's really encouraging, and I'm blessed. Encouraged and very humbled to have this opportunity to impact our education within the state like this.
That's very nice. We've heard so much from the Director General, OEQA, and at this point we'll have a break. Then we'll hear from the directors working with, she talked about our team. So we'll meet 2 directors in our team that is making all that we've just heard happen.
Reading aloud so important? Well, if you commit to reading with your family 20 minutes every single day, then you will develop into a lifelong readers. And just think about what reading can do for you. Improve your vocabulary, improve your confidence. You'll be able to speak and enjoy so many different stories through books.
We are here today to celebrate Read Aloud Lagos. It's the government initiative to make sure that you at home and your families are reading every day for 20 minutes. Can you do it? I think you can. Today we have this wonderful book. It's called Guess How Much I Love You. And what a wonderful book for me to read to you guys today. Do you know what an illustrator is? An illustrator is a person that draws the pictures. And this illustration is done by Anita Jeram. So let's get into it. Little Nut's brown hair, who was going to bed, held on tight to Big Nut Brown Hair's very long ears.
Let me just flip through and read one new book that just fell into my hands by a Nigerian lady, Olubunmi Abodurin Talabi. And it's very, very important given what we're doing now. The book is titled, Why Do You Wash Your Hands? So it's a concept, children, of a mom, her daughter, and a little girl, right? And so the daughter was asking her mom, Mama, why do we wash our hands? And the mom, typical mothers, answered, I said, I wash my hands to remove dirt and germs. Germs make people sick.
Now, I'm going to read aloud today from a very interesting book titled The World We Want. It's a guide to the Sustainable Development Goals for children and young people. And I'm going to talk about goal number 4, which is quality education. It describes the goal as ensuring inclusive and equitable education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. So sit back and listen to Baraka's story. Baraka and her 2 brothers were not going to school. They each helped their parents on the farm and did not have enough money to attend school. That changed when the state opened a new school that gave them free education.
I will be reading from Elam Vita, Essence, a collection of poems by Modukwela Olumegbon. Nurture Me is the title of the poem I'm reading to you. I'm just a young girl waiting patiently in this world for someone to find me and help me. A teacher is what I will need.
A kú dédé àsìkò yìí gbogbo akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nílé lóko lẹ́yìn odi. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún ìjọba ìlú Èkó tí wọ́n gbé ètò yìí kalẹ̀, èyí tí à ń pè ní Èkó ń kàwé sókè. ìwé tí a ó yẹ̀wò ní dédé àsìkò yìí òun ni ìwé pélébé yìí èyí tí arábìnrin kan kọ tí ń jẹ́ Olúbùnmi Ọ̀dẹ́dẹrìn Tàlàbí. Kí ni ohun tí ìwé yìí dálé lórí? Ó dálé lórí wípé bí a ti ń fọwọ́ ní ojú ewé kìíní ó béèrè pé kí ló dé tí à ń fọ ọwọ́ wa? À ń fọ ọwọ́ wa nítorí wípé nígbà tí a bá ń bọ̀ láti ibìkan síbòmíì kí ọwọ́ wa lè mọ́ lásìkò kó má kó àìsàn bá wa náà ni.
Welcome on board, Mr. Adeyemi Adebayo, the Director, Private Education and Special Programs.
Thank you.
Give us those responsibilities or the mandate you're saddled with as a department under the Office of Education Quality Assurance, Lagos State Ministry of Education.
The department, Private Education and Special Programs, our mandate is to provide guidelines and policy directives on key educational issues to private schools in Lagos State. And in doing that, the mandate of the government is that every school should have a name, identity, and then you must have a business location, so that in case government wants to support such schools, there's a need for us to identify where the school is and the name of the school.
Sure.
So every school, the first step in registering a school in Lagos,
you
get a name
and then a location.
And the location. Then after that, we move on to the second step, which is a site inspection. We need to know whether the place you want to use as a school is conducive for learning. We want to find out whether the facilities in place are good. I want to be sure that it's not very close to the marketplace where students learning will be distracted.
Yeah.
And lastly is the approval inspection. At this time, it's going to be a multi-departmental inspection. People from Quality Assurance Office will be there. People from policies will be there. People from building permits will be there.
To assess the building and everything.
Exactly. And people from curriculum too need to be there. So
what they want to teach.
Exactly. So it's a consternation of all the technocrats in government who will go there to approve the school. And once that is done, then the school is given an approval.
What technological initiatives are you putting in place to be able to kind of follow on and keep abreast of this large number of private schools springing up everywhere?
Yes. If you look at what this government is doing, the Ministry of Education is doing presently, is providing technology to all the children attending public schools.
Yes.
Both public and both primary and secondary. But this case is different when it comes to private schools, because in truth, those private schools are businesses.
Yes, so
they are
small
businesses.
Scale, some are small scale,
so
some
education
are
in
high
Lagos
scale.
To the government is service, but to a private school owner,
it's a business. Yeah.
And so what government can do, therefore, is to support the business to thrive. We believe that technology need not to be expensive,
yes,
but it just need to be effective.
Definitely.
And so when such technologies are identified, they are introduced to private schools. These private schools are into two categories: those that belong to associations and those that don't belong to any association. So through an umbrella body of all private school associations in Lagos, we call COPSAIL, Conference of All Private School Associations in Lagos. So we introduce this kind of opportunities in the market for them, and we support them so that they are not exploited, and we reveal to them that this kind of market exists where they can really thrive.
What impact does your office, or should I say the Office of the Education Quality Assurance, intend to give to all the public and private school owners during this pandemic, which is our new normal, towards the reopening of schools?
You will realize that the federal government released, through the World Health Organization, released a guideline, but this office went ahead to simplify.
Simplify, not modify.
We did not modify it, we simplified it. What are the key things, quick win, that the schools can quickly do
and
to make children exactly return to school on time? So that was shared with private school association. It's online, it's on radio, it's on TV, We engage people to tell them about what we are doing, so that what are the quick things you can do so that you can have smooth reopening of school. You know, we are Lagos,
Yes.
and we are supposed to
must be
lead the
dynamic
break
enough.
exactly for other part of the country to emulate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adebayo.
My pleasure.
You've really shed a lot of light on what many people, school owners, private school owners, school leaders, and all other stakeholders in the education sector are so concerned about during this period. And we'll have on next Mrs. Tinu Adetono. She heads the Monitoring and Investigation Department of the Office of Education Quality Assurance. Welcome, Mrs. Adetono, to today's program.
Thank you.
On the Total Education Show, we've started with the Director General, Office of the Education Quality Assurance of the Ministry of Education. She has given us an overview of what they do in the parastatal. And just now, we just concluded interview with Mr. Adeyemi Adebayo, who heads the Private Education and Special Programs Department. And we have with us Mrs. Adetono to tell us what they do in the Monitoring and Investigation Department of the MDA.
We monitor all activities. We visit school randomly to see what they are doing to ensure compliance to government rules and regulation. For investigation, we will investigate all cases, whether public or private. We don't monitor schools that are not approved. For routine monitoring, we don't monitor them. But on child abuse, we visit any school,
so
regardless of their status.
So can we examine the misconceptions and stereotypes that surrounds your work in the OEQA as regards, of course, investigation and monitoring? I want you to narrow this down to all the stakeholders in education, the students, the parents, the community, policymakers, OBAs, whoever they are, and the teachers themselves.
Our services is misconstrued by so many, and because of all these misconceptions, it requires a lot of emotional intelligence, because we see different characters, different attitude, and it is your duty to make peace at the end of the day. But in all we do, the children are at the center.
Yes,
we think of their interests first. So concerning parents, parents see us, they see us as people who just come to interfere unnecessarily, especially when it comes to investigation. At times they don't release a student for interrogation. So that's a challenge we have in that area. And teachers, they see us as enemies too. Students are ignorant even of our roles. When we visit school at times, they see us as ordinary visitors.
They don't know you are there to
they don't know
support their interests.
Yes, they are ignorant of our role in the school. So when they see us as strangers.
So what exactly
who have just come to visit?
Now I'm going to the next question, which is, what is your role for? That's critical, pivotal role that you play in the life of the students, the parents, the teachers, and the community, so that we can allay all this misconception or solve the misconceptions.
Fortunately, there is a policy in Lagos State that says the right of these children must be adequately protected. So, and that's what we are out to do. We visit schools to see if there are problems concerning learners. We want to see whether they are comfortable. We want to see whether the environment is conducive,
particularly now,
whether there is no bullying of any form,
kind,
whether they enjoy what they do.
From what Mrs. Adetono has spoken about today, we can see that the Office of Education Quality Assurance is so vast. This is just 2 out of the many departments in the parastatal, and their main aim is to see to the smooth running of schools, because Lagos State is about leave no child behind.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Yes.
You have really allowed us to see so many aspects that was hitherto, hidden to everyone in the OEQA. I hope you have really enjoyed yourself and you have learned a few things, if not more, hearing from the people that play critical role in managing the Office of Education Quality Assurance in Lagos State. We give kudos to everyone for supporting us to bring the co-curricular initiative of Lagos State Ministry of Education into your homes at this time. We have been seeing your responses, and we thank you and we appreciate all that you've been sending to us on this show. Please don't stop. Continue to send us feedbacks on the number showing on your screen. You know, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, so you can catch up with all the previous episodes of the Total Education Show. Yes, I remain your anchor, Wunmi Tolualalade. See you next time on the show. Bye for now.